Welcome, everybody. Come on in to This is a Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 3. And my name is Deborah, and this is going to be my recap for all the individual couples. I do separate videos on each individual couple. So come on in, take a seat. Don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to comment below. But we're going to start off with Kirsten and Shaq. And she made sure we call her a Kirsten and not Kristen. We got it, Kirsten. We got it. Well, if y'all watched my video last week, I was like, oh, there's no way this couple is going to make it. I was going in on Kirsten. I was all like, poor Shaq, poor Shaq. Well, people, I am changing my mind. I told you I reserve the right to change my mind. And if a Married at First Sight gonna send us on a roller coaster the whole season, I'm a dip and dive with them. And let me tell you what I'm changing my mind about Kirsten and Shaq, and the reason why I'm changing it. Because what I realized in this episode was that Kirsten is exactly what Shaq asked for. I'm going to tell you again. She is exactly what Shaq asked for. And I'm also going to tell you they're more alike than not. They're actually more alike. We were up here. Let me talk about myself. I'm not going to talk about you. I'm talking about myself. I was up here talking about Kirsten's high standards and all this other kind of stuff. And, I think she's a little bit too much. Well, I'm going to tell you what I realize now is Shaq is the same person. Because one of the things we would say about Kirsten is she's this beautiful girl. She's smart. She's intelligent. She's the type of person where there are going to be a lot of men who are going to be attracted to her. So what happens? Why hasn't she closed a deal in marriage prior to coming on Married at First Sight? Because people are here because they haven't closed a deal on marriage, at least not one they want to. And Kirsten has told us she was in a 4-year relationship before Married at First Sight. So we know that. But it went nowhere. Okay, the guy cheated on her. They dated for 4 years. He didn't propose. So it didn't end the way she wanted to. And obviously, it wasn't as if she didn't want that relationship to go towards marriage. It seems like it just went, left. Now we look at Shaq and we say, wait a minute. Shaq is a nice looking guy. I mean, yeah, he's no, I don't know, what's the good looking people out here in the world now for you young people? I don't know who you call a good looking. Back in my day, it was Denzel. So I'm going to say he is no Denzel. But he is good looking. He's smart. He's intelligent. He's God-fearing, which a lot of women like. He seems to have a sweetheart. But I'm going to tell you this about Shaq. What we also know about Shaq is more than likely when he was younger, he was a nerd. That's why he always likes to talk about these stories about how, he didn't get to play sports. We were like, what difference does that make? Was because the girls that Shaq wanted when he was young went after the sports guys. Let me tell you. The girls that Shaq has always liked went after the sports guys and the guys with swag. And those were the women like Kirsten. We already know Kirsten needs a guy with swag. More than likely, that's who Kirsten dated. Kirsten dated men with swag, dated men with a little bit of coin, maybe football players, lawyers, doctors. That's where Kirsten is setting her sights. And Shaq was never in that league. Let me say, he's got a good career, but no one working in the education field is going to become a millionaire. You just don't. Unless you're like you're writing a book or something. But more than likely, sure, you've got a good steady job. You've got a good paycheck. You've got good skills. You're intelligent. You've got this PhD you're about to get. But you are not a baller out here. Okay, and so what I'm explaining right now is the fact that Kirsten has always been out of the league of Shaq. Let's say it. Kirsten was out of Shaq's lead. Now here he is on Married at First Sight saying, wow, the very girl I've been trying to chase all my life, here God has done and placed her right here in front of me. Now, think about something you've always dreamed of, whether it was a job, a career, I don't know, maybe some material thing, a car, whatever. Imagine that thing you've dreamed of all your life is placed right in front of you. Do you think you would give up on it so quickly if it was placed right in front of you? No. And Shaq is not going to give up on Kirsten. He is going to chase her just like she wants to be chased. And listen, I've always, if you watch any of my videos, I believe the man should be the hunter. But I'm going to tell you this about Kirsten's style of letting men hunt. She doesn't know when to let the man capture her. That's probably where she's going wrong. And she tires out the lion. If y'all ever been on a safari, which I have in Africa, and I watched a lion hunt a zebra, and it was a male lion, and he hunches down, he sees the zebra, and he says, I'm going to get that zebra. He was chasing that zebra all around that safari land. It's a lot of land. And you know what ended up happening? That lion got tired because that zebra was quick. That zebra was quick. And after a while, the lion got tired and said, I'm never going to be able to capture this zebra. So that lion got tired, went away, and probably later on went and chased another zebra that wasn't so quick. Kirsten is that quick lion. But the problem is she needs to learn how to be a caught. She needs to learn eventually how to be caught by a person. But she's not there right now. She is not there right now. But the reason I'm changing my mind on this couple is because I think Shaq is never going to give up on Kirsten. That Kirsten is Shaq's dream girl. And I also believe that Kirsten is playing some type of game she likes to play, similar to Steve Harvey's 90-day rules, these type of girls. And 8 weeks, which is only 60 days? That ain't even part of the 90-day rule, right? She's not going to let him devour her in 60 days. But I think that there is a chance that he may devour her. I think she may wear down. Because I think what also might happen to Kirsten, if she doesn't say yes to him in this episode, is that she will start getting the feedback of all her girlfriends, all of us, and what she'll do is she'll want to give him a chance. This is what I believe. Because Kirsten is also a little bit of what Noy had in with Steve. And I don't know if you guys watched the episode where Noy came on right before this season started, and she started talking about why she and Steve didn't work out. Then she started talking about how she decided at one point she was even trying to get together with Steve, but at that time Steve had enough of Noy, and he said no. So then what Noy said was she was now the victim. Well, the story really goes is that Steve chased Noy for a very, very long time. We all know that. Even after decision day, Noy decides she don't even want to live with Steve. Well, once Noy got a whiff of all these little young women out here dropping in Steve's DMs and wanting Steve, and all of a sudden he became a hot commodity out here on these streets, guess who all of a sudden wanted Steve? Noy. And by then, the lion was tired. He was tired. He saw her for what she was. She was a cloud chaser. She only wanted him because other women wanted her. So now she became the victim because he was tired of chasing her. This is the scenario that's going on, I believe, with Kirsten, is going to go on with Kirsten and Shaq. Now, the story is going to be, will Kirsten be different from Noy? Will Kirsten allow the lion to capture her before it's too late and before that lion finds another prey? You hear me out. Will Kirsten allow Shaq to find her, capture her, before that lion, who is Shaq, finds another prey? And let me tell you also why I know they're the same people. Because you see that little dance that Shaq was doing at the wedding? I said, oh, that's a fraternity dance. I don't know what fraternity he's in, but I know right now that little move he was making was a fraternity dance. And when Shaq was on the after party, because he's on the after party, so definitely watch my video. It was Shaq, it was Mac, and it was Jasmine. He also mentioned Kirsten's, one of the girls that was Kirsten's bridesmaid was her line sister. So now we got a sorority and fraternity girls. A sorority girl and a fraternity a male. And I'm telling you, Shaq more than likely is in a fraternity, and Kirsten is his dream girl. And when he was on that college campus, he didn't have access to the girls like Kirsten. Kirsten was too busy trying to catch the lawyers, the doctors, and the football players. And she wasn't dealing with no man over here in the education department or whatever his major was at that college. He ain't gonna give up on Kirsten. He gonna chase her to no end. When they were both talking, sitting at that table, and he was like, "What did we get into?" And he was like, "Ooh," he was tired. He wanted to go take a nap, and she was like, "Yeah, we can just leave right now and go take a nap." They sounded like two peas in a pod. This is why I think the friend of Shaq also said, "Don't fall into that friend zone too quickly. Don't fall into that friend zone too quickly," because I think what these two are going to see real naturally is that they have a lot in common. They like to dress. They like to be out on the town. Like he says, we're going to be lit out here. They really are into a lot of superficial things. Because I told you last week when I saw the gift or heard about the gift that Shaq brought Kirsten, some roses, some wine, a Pandora bracelet. I said, oh, that's all materialistic stuff. All materialistic. Nothing was sentimental. Nothing at all was sentimental about the gifts. It was all materialistic. It was all showy. And I'm telling you, these two are showy. And what they really want to be is they want to be the opposite of what was the last year? Nate and what was the girl's name? Oh, goodness, forgot her name already. They wanted to be the power couple. Remember that was? But let me tell you, when you build a marriage on flimsy ideas like being a power couple with money, being the most fashionable at an event, or wearing the nice flyest outfit, it's not solid enough to sustain a marriage. It's not enough. Sure, you have it in common, but it's not enough to get you past the problems of marriage. And that's what you had with Nate and the other young lady, because it's not enough to both want money and to be rich and powerful to be able to sustain your relationship. And right now with Kirsten and Shaq, right now, what they're sustaining, or he's trying to sustain on, is the fact that she is his dream girl. She is the one that since he was a kid, he always wanted access to. He was the nerd. He probably wasn't even that good looking when he was young. He probably grew into better looks. Then he added on his personality. He became, kind and caring. He became educated. He became a good job. So now here he is 15 years later from when he was a little 14 or 15-year-old boy. And now he is a whole package. He feels he's a whole package, but he wants the top-notch woman. And those women were not checking for Shaq. They were absolutely not checking for Shaq. And now here she is. God has dropped her in his lap. And there is no way he is going to give up on her easily. And this little hard to get game that Kirsten likes to play, and she's played this probably all her life. Even Shaq on the after party tells a story that when he leaned in for the kiss to kiss her, and he was pulling back after the hug because she didn't kiss him. He said that she pulled him closer again a second time. He said, "What you doing? You playing with me? Do you want me to kiss you on the cheek again?" He said he got mixed signals, because that's what game playing is. It's mixed signals. It's chase me, but then when you go away and you push them away and they go away, you go, "Oh no, come back." That's that push and pull women like to play, and it sends mixed signals to men. And oftentimes some men get tired of it, they get fed up with it, and they run away. And they say, "You too difficult, you too hard to please." And that's also what happens with a lot of this game playing or playing hard to get. And it's what Kirsten has done a lot of her life. I can tell. It's like what one of my viewers said last week. Kirsten is the type of person that sends food back at a restaurant for no reason. And you know why? Because she wants you to try harder. She wants you to make it better. She wants you to take it up a notch, because the more you keep trying, the more she gets. She gets a free drink at the bar because the last drink wasn't good. She gets a free dinner because the steak wasn't cooked exactly the way she likes it. She has realized that being picky, pushing people away and pushing people back, makes people come harder and give her even more. It is a tactic to squeeze more out of people. And she is about to play a Shaq like a fiddle. But I'm not feeling sorry for Shaq no more, because you know what? I believe this is what Shaq wants, because Shaq has had plenty of opportunities to be with other women. I don't know if you guys watched the matchmaking special, but there was a woman in that special. Her name, I think, was Julissa or something. And I said, oh, that's a nice young lady. I think she would pair well with Shaq. But let me tell you, Pastor Cal, who was doing the matchmaking for these two, he did the matchmaking. He said no. He picked Kirsten because what he knew was what he had heard, which I hadn't heard, was he heard who Shaq wanted. And I'm telling you, Shaq described to Kirsten. The other girl, Julissa, I believe that was her name. She had natural hair. Okay, she wasn't necessarily this Coke bottle shape, but she seemed like she was a nice lady. And what Pastor Cal knew was Shaq would not be attracted to her. And what he didn't want to happen was what has happened in the past, and that is black men not being attracted to black women, like what happened with Paige and Chris. And he said, I'm not going to do that. But I'm telling you, Shaq sat up in that interview with Pastor Cal and told him he wanted a fly woman to match his fly. Just like he said, I sit down at this sewing machine, I sew, I wear these suits. On the after party, he got on a red suit and some red and white tennis shoes. Shaq is out there, and he wants a woman he likes to light up a room when he walks in. He wants everybody to look at him. And let me tell you, he wants a woman that when they walk in the room, everybody looks at her and him too. So I actually do not feel sorry for Shaq anymore. I know before we were all saying, poor Shaq, poor Shaq. I'm not saying poor Shaq because this is what Shaq wants. And Shaq has had plenty of women, plenty of times to choose a different type of woman. But Kirsten is exactly what he wants. So if Kirsten is what he wants, then he is going to have to put in the work to get that Kirsten. And now I have a no mercy, a no remorse, no sadness, no poor Shaq. I'm done with it because I know who he is and I know what he wants and I know what he's turned down in the past. And like he said, a God has delivered to him right now. So let the games begin, Shaq. Let the games begin. Put on your hunting shoes because Kirsten is a professional and she is going to make you run around this track a lot of times. But this is what I tell you. If Shaq doesn't tire out, he will and can capture Kirsten. Because eventually what will kick in with Kirsten is she will see all the other women who will be willing to stand along the sidelines and pick up a Shaq when she's done with them or she doesn't want them. And guess what? That's going to make her want him. What's going to make Kirsten want Shaq is seeing that other women want Shaq. And that's going to change her mind. I don't know if you saw that clip, but there's a clip when Eris and Jasmine are talking, and Jasmine is obviously upset that Eris was dancing with another woman. I couldn't see who the woman was. At first, I thought it was going to be Dominic, because not Dominic. My nephew's name is Dominic. That's why I keep messing it up. Dominic. And it wasn't going to be, I thought it was going to be Dominic, but now I think it's Kirsten. I think a Kirsten dances with Eris to make Shaq jealous. This is what I believe, because this is also part of the games of these handbooks. And I think what Kirsten wants is she wants to unleash the tiger or the lion in Shaq. And part of that playbook is make him jealous to make that fight come out in him. Now, the friends have already alluded to the fact that Shaq doesn't have a lot of fight in him. Even his friends have told him, well, man, she's going to want you to really go after it. Don't, basically they was telling him to buck up, man up. Don't come with this soft approach and come in trying to be the friend and all this. Because let me tell you, this is the game plan that Shaq has used being younger. Because when he was younger, he couldn't go after no Kirsten. No Kirsten was checking for him. So what he would like to do is he would like to be next to these women and be their friend. And then he was thinking that eventually he could get turned from a friend into a boyfriend. No, that's not going to happen. So now what they're trying to tell him is, man, don't do that playbook. Don't be trying to be next to these women being a friend. This is your wife now. Come in being the hunter. But he has the same playbook he had when he was young and he didn't have all these other things going for him. But now his friends are trying to tell him, be the lion, step up, devour this woman, and hunt this woman. We'll see if he listens. I think he's going to listen. Kirsten tried to say the only reason she didn't kiss Shaq was because he didn't ask. No, it's a lie. It's a lie. She absolutely wanted him to ask, but she still would have said no. She likes to hunt, people. She likes to hunt. She likes them to hunt her. And so even if he would have said, could I kiss you, she would have given him the cheek. Because even when they were in the restroom, and she was in the restroom with her friend said, well, if he would have asked, or he asked later on tonight at the honeymoon, in the honeymoon suite, will you say yes now? She goes, well, I don't know. Girl, we know you're going to say no. Girl, you'll say no. You'll do the cheat. I'm telling you, I really doubt if these two even consummate the marriage and that they have sex. I still go hold on to that. I still believe that Kirsten is working off this 90-day rule stuff, and this 8-week experiment is not 90 days. And I don't think she's going to give in 100% to Shaq. And on the after party, even Shaq said that the friends later on came up to him and said, Kirsten really does want to kiss you, but she wanted you to ask. And Shaq said they told him this at the wedding. So eventually he figured out what the problem was, or he thinks he knows what the problem was, but he's still believing, oh, she's just a virtuous woman. Well, this is all part of the chase. The chase is to appear virtuous, to seem unattainable, to make you chase me more. Kirsten ain't no virgin. Kirsten is not a virgin. And let me tell you, I'm not saying she's, loose and goosey out here in these streets, but she is not a virgin. She ain't a virgin nor a born again virgin. This is all a game plan. But I tell you this, whether she ends up saying yes to Shaq or she says yes to another man, I'm going to give Kirsten a bit of advice because I like to give all the ladies advice. Your game is going on too long. Too long. You're tiring out the lions. Don't be easy to get. Got it. Make the man chase you. Got it. Make the man work for you a little bit. Got it. But you also have to know when to fold and when to give in and when to let the lion capture you. And Kirsten doesn't know when to let the lion capture her. She doesn't know when to do it. So hopefully she figures that out with Shaq. But I'm going to move them from absolutely not being able to make it, because that's where I had them. I had them in the absolutely, positively, no way going to make it. And I am moving them back into the maybe category. I'm not going to put them all the way into the yes, because I need to see some more episodes. But I'm going to put them in the maybe. And I'm going to put them in the maybe mainly because of Shaq and the fact that I now know that Kirsten is his sorority dream girl. And as hard as I know he works, because he's not a PhD, he's a hard worker. He is going to work hard, y'all. He is going to work very hard. And I wouldn't be surprised if these two are just like Noe and Steve, where maybe they say yes, but they don't live together. It's going to be some little quirk, but he's not going to give up on her. And then what's going to happen is she's going to see all the YouTube videos. She's going to see all the girls liking him. She's going to see all her friends say, because her friends like Shaq. And she's going to now turn back and double back to him. And the other part of the reason why I know they're two peas in a pod, because when those friends were talking to Shaq, her friend said to Shaq, you sound like a politician saying all the right things. Because I believe that Shaq and Kirsten are the same personality. They know how to present the outside package. And they're about the outside package. I hope it's enough that even if they do get together, it's enough to stay in the relationship, because it is a very flimsy foundation, because it really is based off of some other little sort of superficial things. But Stasha, that was her name. I know, my little senior moment came back. But Stasha and Nate couldn't survive because Stasha didn't know how to be satisfied in a lot of ways. She didn't know how to walk hand in hand with Nate because she felt she was too far ahead of Nate. So nothing Nate did was good enough. Now, this is the same scenario that can happen with Kirsten and Shaq. Kirsten right now believes that although Shaq has a lot of good qualities, he's still not good enough for her. Wonder if she'll ever change her mind and feel as if, you know what, maybe he is good enough. Because listen, the area in which she feels he's not good enough is attractiveness and his swag and his desirability. And people can change her mind on that because once she sees that someone else wants it, she gonna want it. I know who Kirsten is. She's gonna want it, or once she knows other people want it. So like I said, I'm moving them from the category of absolutely, positively not to the maybe category. And stay with me this whole season, y'all, because it might turn out that I move them all the way into the yes category. All righty. Talk to you later. Bye.